What is up, guys? Today I wanted to talk about a new Battle Royale that just released on the 27th of March. Mini Royale is a free-to-play action shooter developed by Indigo Blue Studios. The game offers multiple modes, but the main one is Battle Royale, classic to PUBG, Fortnite, you know the deal. I'll get more into detail, but one thing I can definitely say is movement in this game is key, and there's an insanely high skill ceiling. So if you're someone who really likes to sweat and try hard into games and showcase your own skill, this game might be for you. Now, probably the most important and interesting part is the play button. So what you can do here is your standard lobbies. You can go trios, duos, or solo queue. There will be a third-person mode. I don't think it's activated yet, but I think there is a third-person exclusive lobby if you want to play third-person instead of first-person shooter. There's also a ranked mode that just released, but that is giga sweaty. So unless, like, if you're a new player like me, I would recommend going to the normal lobbies first to get some feeling for the guns, for the perks, just the movement overall, because I think movement is key. I will say this multiple times in this game because it really is. But if you are a very good shooter gamer and you want to challenge yourself, go into the ranked mode. I think at the moment they have solo queue and duo queue ranked, and it is really try hard. There's a lot of extremely good players in there. So yeah, go challenge yourself. Then you also have the arcade classics like Color Conquest and Deathmatch here. I think there will also be some tourneys in the future. I hope so, at least. I remember from the playtest that they do organize internally with, you know, the Discord servers, some tournaments for their recurrent players and hardcore fans. So I think now that the game is in early access and it's out already, I think there will be more official tournaments. At least I hope so. Then you can also go into offline mode, which is basically a training grounds. You can go for the aim map just to practice the guns, the aim, the feeling for it, and you can go through the tutorial if you're a complete new player, where you learn some of the movements, some of the basics, you know, crouching, sliding, grappling, things like this, which I personally really like, because as someone who is completely new to shooters, this was really important for me just to get a feeling for it. Now we are in the tutorial and practice range. So here I just want to show you the various guns and equipments you can get. So there's 5 different colors or qualities of your weapons and of your guns, of your equipment. The lowest one is green. Then you have blue, purple, gold, and red. Red is very rare. You can get red, I think, only through free spins, which I will explain later, or through the train set, which I will also explain later. So just know that red is the by far rarest gun you can get, quality gun. Gold you can upgrade even in the slot machines. So let's start. First of all, here you have 2 sets of grenades. You have a general HE grenade or a smoke grenade. You can aim and hold with left mouse button. Make sure you don't wait too long. And then you throw and it explodes after the detonator. Let's go to the weapons. So you have a TT pistol, which I think is highly underrated. Really strong gun, especially if you find it in high quality. Feels very smooth. Okay, I'm not good at shooting, as you can see, but it feels very smooth to use. Quick fire, no recoil, I think, or at least very little. Then second, you have the Magnum. Much harder to use in my opinion, but more damage. And also highly recommended if you find it in a very good quality. So purple or gold or even red. Good secondary gun for sure. Now the shotguns are sadly very bad in my opinion. Now I don't know, I'm just not a good shooter player either, so maybe it's me, but both shotguns, so the Italian shotgun I'm using right now and the, let's see where it is, the Bulldog, feel extremely bad. I barely ever pick these guns up in the game, even if I find them in gold or red quality, so very high quality, I still don't like picking them up, and it feels very weak. Then you have the MP34, which is a solid gun in my opinion. Rapid fire, low damage, close range. Then the MP40, pretty similar. Right, my favorite gun, M4, medium range gun, pretty easy to hit, and definitely recommend that one. AK also very solid. I think AK and M16 are basically the best guns to have. Then we have the 2 snipers, 2 long range guns. You have the M1 Garand. With this gun, you can shoot multiple times without reloading, but the damage is not as good, and the range is, I think, also not as good. I'm not entirely sure, though. I don't personally like this gun. I much prefer the car. If you get the car in high quality, so gold or even red, you one-tap people if you get a headshot. So it's literally a one, even through armor. Now you have red dot, 2x, and 4x and 8x scopes. I don't know what the 8x is, but yeah, so when it comes to scopes, you have red dot, 2x, 4x, and 8x. I recommend using the 4x and the red dot. Now, military coins. These dog tags are the most important currency, or the most important part to pick up, in my opinion, in the game, because there are a lot of great perks you can get with it, or you can get armor, you can get weapons if you're in need and you don't find any that you're comfortable with. Then you pick up these on the map. They're all around the map, right? You pick them up and then you press tab, and in tab you can then see defensive upgrades and offensive upgrades, right? Here you see the number of dog tags you have. These are free spins. I'll explain that later as well. You see the ammunition here, weapons, attachments, grenades, medicine, armor. Now with these military coins, I'm just going to say it's like currency, right? It's like gold in other games or whatever. And with those, you can click through this perk system and either buy weapons, buy upgrades like this. You know, level 3, you bleed out 30% slower when knocked out. So this is relevant in duos and trios because you can be revived if you're just knocked down. Or, you know, you have higher healing with healing potions and with medikits. Let's see if I can get some dog tags here. Is that just one? So as I just explained with the coins, right, that's the currency. I picked up 3 dog tags now. As you can see in the upper right corner next to the minimap, I have 3 dog tags right now, 3 coins, 3 currency. Now if you find these slot machines right here on the map, and I can also show you if you press M, on the map you will see these machines, right, all over the map. If you find one of these and you have dog tags and you have only a low quality weapon like I do right now, I have a green car and a green TT, then you can go to these machines, press F, and it will upgrade your weapon. Now, if you're really lucky, it'll upgrade multiple sections. If you're not so lucky like me right now, you just get the next quality, like the next best quality. So from green to blue, but it is already worth it. Another important item that you can pick up on the map is a silencer and a compensator. This reduces the recoil and this just, well, silences the gun. And it is very important in this game to be either silent or very fast in your movement. And, you know, a silencer can really help to sneak up on someone from the zone, or if you're camping and shooting and you don't want to reveal your position, then I definitely recommend the silencer. And the compensator, of course, for better accuracy when shooting. Some other very important mechanics in the game, you know, you can jump, like always in almost every game with spacebar. But what is very unique to Mini Royale, you can grapple. So you have a grapple gun, which gives you an insane flexibility when it comes to movement. So this is what it would look like. You sprint, press your grappling gun, and then you move up, right? Some other interesting things you can do in this game, I'll show you here right now. Because I keep mentioning that movement is key, right? And movement is one of the highest skill expressions in this game. So what you can do, and there are some videos out there that I will link in my video as well to give you more of an idea from actually really good players, not me. What you can do is you can look near the floor down, jump, grapple, jump again, and then you will jump very high up. Right? So if you're facing an enemy and they're right in front of you in a 1v1, it is sometimes really useful to use this to jump over them and make it hard for them to aim at you while you can shoot at them afterwards. Other things you can do is you sprint and then press C, for me at least, C and spacebar to do a combat roll forward like this. So you sprint, press C, and combat roll with space. So there's a lot of movement you can do. Another thing which is a little bit more difficult is you sprint, grapple, and then press spacebar at the very end, right after the grapple ends, and then you can increase your movement speed incredibly high. Like, it's like bunny hopping, I think it's called. So you just take that movement speed from the grappling gun into hopping across the map, and you can really cover a lot of ground with it. For example, if you're trying to get to the train, which I will mention later on as well, to get the loot box on the train at the beginning of the game, you can use this trick to get there faster. As you can see, it's a lot faster than if I would just sprint normally and jump. If you know how to do this consistently, you can really make some nice plays across the map. Now, with the bunny hopping, there's also the possibility to do that when you get the air boost, when you're dropping either the respawn or the beginning of the game out of the Zeppelin. You can drop down, use the air boost for the speed. You can then use the jump to also gain a lot of movement speed.
Also B-hop, if you use the air boost really low to the ground after spawning, getting you a lot more distance, meaning you could beat people to the train easier too. So personally, I use the spacebar to be help as it's easy enough if you can time it well, although if you are struggling, I would suggest using the scroll wheel to be more consistent.
You can of course also use the trick that I just showed you with the jump, grapple, jump to, you know, go over obstacles like this, or to land up here faster than with, you know, climbing or grappling up there. So you can go like this and then jump up here. So there's a lot of tricks that you can learn to use the terrain and the map efficiently and effectively. I'm definitely not an expert, but I would recommend to click through the perks and try to find the extra coin perk that will give you multiple coins per pickup from the dog tags. Now do that if you find a decent gun to defend yourself in the first seconds of the game, of course. If you only find green guns or guns you're not familiar with, you don't like using, then I would rather use the dog tags to either upgrade your gun or to find and buy a better one that you can use to, you know, fight the early skirmishes with. If you're pretty much set up with good guns and good equipment at the beginning though, definitely try to click through the perks and try to find the extra dog tag perk. At the beginning of the game, when you drop from the Zeppelin, you can try to air boost yourself and drop immediately on the train, trying to go for the loot box. If you're lucky, you're going to get insane loot, golden armor, golden guns, maybe even a red gun, or you're really unlucky and you just get nothing. It's also in general a gamble because a lot of people will contest this. An important mechanic for duos and trios, you can revive your partner when they are knocked down. All you gotta do is press F, it takes a little time, couple seconds, and then they're back on their feet and can keep their loot without having to respawn without loot. And now, how the respawn system works, there are, as you can see on the top left, if I eliminate 3 more players, I get another respawn. This is another thing that's different to the other vending machine. You can get ammunition, and just utility, so armor, medkit, military potion, scopes, that kind of stuff. Also very interesting and important to keep in mind if you're still missing a scope or a military potion or something like that, or anything to heal or shield if you're running out. The early zone really doesn't do a lot of damage. Only the later zones, the closer the map gets, like the closer the zone gets, the more damage the storm will do, like being outside of the zone, right? Now the zone is coming in, and I'll show you what I mean. So usually people run away from the zone and try to enter the clear, right? They try to run away from the storm and enter the clear zone, right? So that's why if you don't panic and just chill, take your time. Right now I'm taking about 1 damage per second. I pop 1 military potion and it'll heal up against it, as you can see on the bottom left. So I have all the time in the world to loot this stuff in peace and quiet, while everyone else is rushing to the next zone. I can show you what I meant earlier with almost everything is scalable. A lot of people don't even realize there's these airplanes up here, right? But you can, if you use your grappling gun well, actually sit on top of these and snipe. It's crazy, right? The positions you can take. And I think you can also get onto the hoop. You can get on the lamp here. You can get on that hoop over there. Like there's a lot of stuff on the map that people don't even realize because they don't look up. So this is what a typical match would look like. You get connected to a server with 30 players, max in a lobby. You enter this zone right here where everyone is gathering. You can either wait, you can, you know, practice your movement here, like the jump, grapple, jump trick, or any other movement like combat roll. You can also go to this Game Boy here, or whatever this is, press F, and then you enter a quick warm-up zone where you can play deathmatch with everyone else that joins this area. You immediately get 2 golden guns. You can switch them with tab. You just press tab and then, you know, attach anything you want to attach to your weapons. And then you can, yeah, fight other players. Warm up your hands, your reactions, your aim, your movement, and all of the above. Which I clearly really need. Now there's a few options here that I quickly want to explain. If this is not sponsored or, you know, hashtag add any of that, I am just explaining this as a fan of the game. You can get the season pass and support the studio with 10 euros. Now how this works is you just play the game, gain experience points, and then progress through the season pass. The free ones, where it says free, these are skins and extras or goodies or, you know, spray paints or emotes that you will get for free regardless whether or not you have the season pass. But where it says premium, this is what you can only unlock if you get the pass. Now this bucket, for example, I'll explain in a few seconds. But yeah, you can get different character models, you can get different skins for your guns, you can get voice lines like this.
So are you.
So a skin for the dog tags you can pick up in the game, or different emotes like this one. Now back to the bucket that you can unlock. This is what you use it for. You go to wardrobe, then you go to your character model, you choose which kind of model you want to take. You know, you can take this one I unlocked recently, and then you can color them however you want to, right? There's a bunch of colors you can choose. Let's just stick with green here for now. And then different patterns you can also choose. So it's quite customizable, and you can make your character and your model quite unique. Then in the wardrobe, there's all the other goodies that you received or unlocked. For example, this is my parachute right now. Then you have different spray paints, emotes, voice lines, and of course weapon skins. And then of course, if you want even more customizability, more skins, more extras, you can just directly go to the shop and buy skins, consumables, or different bundles and upgrade your guns, your look, your visuals, everything like that. Important though, this is not pay to win. Almost nothing here feels unfair or like a little advantage. There are some colors where I feel they could be an advantage depending on where in the zone you are hiding or looking or fighting, because sometimes the green blends in, the green of the soldiers or the blue blends in with some of the terrain on the map. So there I'm not entirely sure, but that's maybe something you can find out yourself and maybe tinker around with some of the colors and try to find a good spot to hide and, you know, snipe from or whatever. Next up, this is the career mode. You can see my stats. I'm new to shooters. This is definitely not good. I have a low KDA, low damage per round. This is definitely not, yeah, I probably shouldn't have shown this, but just for transparency, this is what it looks like. So you have quite a lot of good stats to look at, which I personally always like to see what I can improve on, or, you know, what is my favorite gun, what do I shoot best with, which for me is the M4. You can see how much you played. You can go for different challenges to gain more XP for your season pass as well. And you can also see the game summaries, you know, what place you ranked in the last matches. Now to the review and rating part that I wanted to talk about. I personally love the game. It does have a lot of qualities that I find unique. Then again, I'm also new to shooters, so I think everything is more exciting now because everything is new for me. I missed the PUBG hype. I never played CS, you know, all those big games. Fortnite I've never played. Maybe I'm a little bit biased here, but this is just my opinion. So I would say this is a very solid game. It is very fast paced. With the respawns, you always feel like you have some sort of chance to get into the game, even if you have a bad start. You know, if you get third partied early on or you have a bad drop, you could just get a respawn in a lesser populated zone or part of the map and gather up some loot again. That of course is also a really plus side. There is so much loot on the map. There's always, it feels like there's never a game where you find nothing, right? There's never a game where you're super unlucky and you don't get any loot. Usually if you're left alone for like 2 minutes on anywhere on the map, you will have decent loot, decent guns, maybe not fully equipped with perfect perks, but you will have a fighting chance fairly quickly and easily. And what I really love is it's a really scalable map. It's crazy how many spots there are that, you know, I've played, what, 26 hours in this game already, and maybe with the play test even more, 30 hours or something. Played hundreds of matches, and I still have yet to find new spots to go or to scale. You can climb everything, you can use the grappling gun to scale everything, you can go underground, you can go into the wall. There's so many spots like the basketball hoop or the planes on top, you know, something cheesy like a window seal or on the frame of a picture on the side. That's what I really love, but it's also a bit of a negative side because you can get third party from God knows where and you have no idea where you're being shot from. But the fact that you can move around freely and it's a little bit up to your own creativity and your playstyle is definitely a plus for me. When it comes to the guns, it's a mixed bag for me. Some feel really, really satisfying and good, like the CAR or the M4 or, you know, like the AK. That feels really good. And me, again, I'm biased because I don't have good shooter experience. I've heard from a lot of experienced shooter players that they feel a little bit gimmicky, like toy guns, which is the whole point. We're in a toy scenario and they don't feel like real guns. So for shooters, like expert shooters and people that love these kind of games, that might feel weird in the first couple minutes, but then they all warm up to it and like it. The negative side of the guns are the shotguns. I think they're extremely underwhelming. It's insane. Like, I've had a game where I got a red Italian shotgun, right? And red guns usually, no matter what it is, red Magnum, TT, or any kind of gun in red, usually is super strong. The shotgun, I hit 3 shots and the guys did not go down. And I feel like if you have a shotgun close range, it should do a lot of damage no matter where you hit if it's a high quality gun, right? And that's really underwhelming. Both shotguns, the Bulldog and the Italian shotgun, feel super bad. Even if you properly hit the enemies or you go for the head or whatever, doesn't feel satisfying, doesn't feel good. The map is so large and there's so many open spaces to shoot from that there's almost no scenario where you ever want to pick up shotgun. And that's kind of sad because it's 2 complete guns that are out of the game and feel pretty useless. So I think that needs to change a little bit. Overall, what I can say is because it's so fast-paced, and even if you lose, you just queue up for the next one. Even if you have a bad drop and you get a better respawn afterwards, like the game feels very addicting and satisfying because you can always get into a new game with a better spawn, with better guns, with better perks, with more luck or whatever, or a better spot where you're hiding at, or other people in the lobby that are maybe better or worse. So it feels like you can always just queue up for a couple of games and enjoy it, and it's not too tilting or crazy. Now to the negative side, you are kind of zone dependent, so it depends on where you drop and how many people drop with you. The game is insane with third partying because it is fairly small, the map. Like it's big in a sense that it's scalable and they can be anywhere, but for 30 people and 30 people that can respawn if they die and respawn on top of you, it feels like there's constant action. Like it's really, really fast paced, which is fun and good because you're never bored, but it's also sometimes frustrating because you keep getting respawned or spawned in third parties and you battle with one team or with one person and there's 2 right behind you. That brings me to the next point. One of the downsides is the sound. I think they need to work on that a little bit, because I hear shots, but I don't know where from. I can't see if I can't hear if it's on top, on like behind me, in front of me. There's so many locations it can be from, you know, especially if it's from top, you can't really locate it that well. I think they need to make that better. Same goes for steps. My own steps feel like they're louder than enemy steps. I can never hear someone actually, you know, running at me from behind, which I think needs to be fixed for sure. And then in duo and trio scenarios, I think also the pings should be a little bit more clearer. Like clearer on the map, you should maybe have a little ping on the minimap as well to really instantly show you where someone is coming from or shooting from and to communicate better with your teammates. Another small thing that I noticed and I don't really like is the auto equipping. It can be useful if you're lazy and you don't want to equip your scopes to the guns manually yourself. But sometimes I'm in a firefight. You know, I'm fighting 1v1 with someone or with a different team, and then I slide somewhere, accidentally slide through a scope on the ground, and it immediately equips. And then when I'm aiming at them, I'm suddenly with a 4 scope on an AK, and it's really hard to aim at the enemy then because I'm so zoomed in. And that's annoying. That shouldn't happen in my opinion. Now, I don't know if there's a setting to cancel that, the auto toggling. I don't know. If there is, then, you know, I take it all back. That's, you know, take that negative part out. But if there isn't, they really should include that. And the last part now is something I'm not sure if I want to say it's a negative or a positive thing. This game has an insanely high skill gap, in my opinion, like skill cap and skill gap. And at the moment in these lobbies, every MMR and every skill type is in the same lobby. So sometimes you have like these Giga Chads running around, one-tapping people, and with insane movement. You're never gonna hit them once with a single bullet because they just, you know, zoom around, grappling gun, jump here, trick shot there, and so it feels a little bit frustrating as a new player. And I'm not just new to this game, but also new to, in general, shooters. So if someone is with this insanely high skill gap in my same lobby, it can feel very frustrating and demotivating fast. It is a positive though. If you're a very sweaty player, there is a lot to learn and improve in this game. Last but not least, I do want to give you some recommendations, what you can watch, streams and content creators to watch. I will link everything down below in the video description with some streamer names and really high-level skilled players that you can watch and that I highly recommend to check out on stream or on YouTube to learn from, to see how the game can be played and how good you can get at this game. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, guys. Really appreciate it, and see you in future videos.